Well, hello, EKN Nation. Rob Howden here alongside David Cole for another edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast for an upcoming EKN Trackside event. And, of course, the event that David's going to dive into here before he heads to Wisconsin, the United States Pro Kart Series Badger State Grand Prix, July the 9th to the 11th at CTEC Manufacturing Motorplex at Road America up in Elkhart Lake. We'll jump into it in a second. As you all know, these OutLap podcasts really are a preview of the event that we're heading to, part of the EKN Trackside Live Tour for 2021. This edition of the OutLap brought to you by Trinity Karting Group. Trinity Karting Group is your first step on the ladder to racing success. Based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, they literally have a track in their backyard and a controlled environment to develop your skills. Trinity Karting Group flattens out the steep learning curve with a professional staff that can put you on the right path. The focus is driver development, and they compete at the local, regional, and national levels. They have new and used packages available, and they're your Midwest source for Kart Republic, Tony Karts, and OTK parts, as well as IAME engines. Visit them online at teamtkg.com or call 513-421-4463. All right, David, a little bit of a break in the action. You've been home. You've got worked through the honey-do list a little bit, coming off the July 4th Independence Day weekend. And, dude, you're heading back to Wisconsin this coming weekend.
Wisconsin, yeah. Road America, one of the favorite venues in all of North America that I enjoy attending and being at. And getting back to Trackside. It's been since just prior to the Memorial Day weekend that we were at the Spring Nationals. That was our last Trackside event. So it's been a while since we've been able to provide, the daily coverage that we do provide, along with all the live audio and everything else that goes on throughout the weekend when we're providing race coverage. So it's going to be exciting to get back Trackside. Yeah,
again, it's essentially the halfway point of the USPKS program for 2021. The Badger State Grand Prix at CTEC Manufacturing Motorplex, the event, the track. If you watched either the IndyCar race a couple of weeks ago or watched the NASCAR race yesterday on Sunday, you were able to see the kart track. Lots of shots of the kart track. It's right there on the outside of turn number 8, and pretty hard to miss when you get an aerial shot of Road America. David, rounds number 5 and 6 of an 8-round championship, best 7 count. A little bit of a haul from some of the guys, obviously coming from North Carolina, Florida, whatever it may be, Texas, up into to Road America, to Wisconsin, but definitely worth the trip. One of the fantastic racetracks in our sport.
It is. Even West Coast drivers making their West Coast teams and drivers making the trek out east, Colorado, Oregon, California. A lot of those states are represented for what is going to be a record-setting event for the facility that we're going to. It's such a unique racetrack. It's not flat. That is one thing that you can say about it. When, as you said, they had a lot of the aerial shots, and when you see it, it doesn't necessarily show the elevation change that you do see within the lap that you're doing. Essentially, you go uphill for the first part of the lap, and then everything else is back downhill towards where the start-finish line is, and it's just and the pavement. That's the one thing about this 0.8 mile of a circuit. The pavement is unlike any other that you'll race at all year long. Guys throw rain setups in dry conditions in order to find grip a little bit. So that's interesting. It certainly is a unique asphalt that is laid down, and certainly, testing is key. We saw a lot of competitors race at the Route 66 Sprint Series event there 2 weeks ago. That program's been at Road America over the last 4 years. So a lot of people who have raced in that program have a little bit of an advantage, and those who were there 2 weeks ago might have just a little bit of extra notes compared to those who are just now going to Road America for the first time.
Track's been around for just over 20 years now. I remember being back there at the Stars of Karting event. Bobby, I think Graham Rahal, I keep saying Bobby, I saw Bobby this weekend, but Graham Rahal, I think probably his first big 125cc shifter kart win back in the Stars of Karting days. There was some good racing. WKA has been there. They had the Rotax Grand Nationals there, David. And of course, the Cup Karts North America crew have it on their schedule as well.
Yeah, a lot of different programs have been up to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. And utilize the kart track. Again, it just kind of sat there for a while, aside from the Route 66 program. Not very many other programs have used it recently, but USPKS decided, last year with the COVID, it was kind of just a fill-in facility because of the way the schedule unfolded, and then Labor Day weekend opened up, and so they took advantage of it and went there last year for the first time in USBKS history, and it was certainly a favorite among those who were there last year.
Nice.
And they were asking for it to be back on the schedule in 2021.
I like to hear that. That's fantastic. Obviously, karting very, very big in Wisconsin. David, let's have a look at the schedule. You're obviously going to be rolling in there, I believe, sometime on Thursday, driving over from Grand Rapids. What's the 4-day schedule look like?
They do have a optional practice on Thursday running from noon to about 6 p.m. So I'm assuming most teams will be locked and loaded Wednesday, getting their area set up in the paddock, and then a lot of the competitors will be on track Thursday for that optional practice. Official practice begins on Friday. They're going to get 5 rounds throughout the day, so each category getting the 5 chances to learn the track and the conditions that will be in on the weekend, followed by a cookout that evening. And then we'll get into racing on Saturday with round 5, including a warm-up, qualifying, pre-final, and finals. And then repeat that all over again on Sunday for round 6. I'm not sure on the laps. They did not have the laps on the schedule. So that is something that, obviously we'll have covered in our written preview that we'll have later this week, and along with obviously during the live coverage throughout the weekend.
And folks, as you know, David will get this up on the EKN Radio Network. That's the first opportunity to listen to any of the content that we put out in terms of a podcast. After that, it will get put into podcast form. You'll be able to download that from iTunes, Google Play, all the different levels of platforms, Spotify, whatever it is, all the different platforms for podcasts. All right, first break of the action. When we get back, David's going to give us a little look in the by the numbers. We're going to see what kind of entries we have, pre-entries coming into the event. Of course, the Newcastle race earlier this year, 270 strong. We'll see what we end up with at Road America, but don't go anywhere. Lots to come here, this edition of the OutLap. Leading Edge Motorsports is the industry answer to winning in karting. At the helm is industry veteran Greg Bell, who has orchestrated the success of many drivers dating back to the mid-1990s. Based in Lodi, California, Leading Edge Motorsports is the Western importer with IP karting that includes the Praga and Formula K chassis brands. Leading Edge Motorsports provides in-depth driver development for those racers in Northern California and across the country. Arrive and drive services, kart preparation, and driver coaching are available under the LEM tent throughout the season. Bell's record of working with drivers includes recent victories at North America's biggest karting events, including the Rock the Rio and the SCUSA Super Nationals. Greg Bell's knowledge for building engines spans 2 decades and is now under the Mega Power branding, providing a reliable engine service and tuning knowledge. No matter the chassis brand, choose Mega Power to get to the front. Click over to leadingedgemotorsports.com for more and find them on social media to stay connected. At Leading Edge Motorsports, winning never gets old. You can buy all the latest and greatest products on the market, but when you're karting to win, it boils down to one thing: you, the driver. Gain the knowledge and abilities by investing in yourself at the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, and you'll find those extra tenths of a second you need to put yourself on the podium. The school was established by SuperKarts USA Hall of Fame driver Alan Rudolph, with decades of victories and championships in multiple forms of the sport, including other disciplines of racing. The Alan Rudolph Racing Academy, located at the Speed Sports Racing Park in the metropolitan Houston area, is designed to teach driving skills at all levels. The instructors of the Academy have decades of racing experience and educating drivers of all ages. Classes at the Academy will teach the concepts and skills needed both behind the wheel and off the track. From the beginning kart racing experience and intro to karting courses, to their advanced 1-day and 2-day courses and karting clinics, the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can improve the skills of any driver. For more information on the specific programs that the Alan Rudolph Racing Academy can provide for you, head to speedsports.com and click on the Racing Academy page. Be sure to follow the Academy on social media by searching for Alan Rudolph Racing Academy. Welcome back to the EKN Radio Network. Rob Howden alongside David Cole for what is the 24th edition of the EKN OutLap, our preview podcast. And of course, David taking a deep dive into the look at what we'll see this weekend for the USPKS Badger State Grand Prix at Road America, C-Tech Manufacturing Motorplex. David, there's been startlingly big numbers at the USPKS. A lot of momentum from teams coming in, wanting to be part of the fun over the last couple of years. 270 entries for the Newcastle race earlier this year. How are things looking overall pre-entries, and you talking to Tim Coyne and the crew over at the USPKS?
Yeah, we got the entry list just last night, this morning, as registration did close up. We're looking at what is going to be the third largest event in the series program. So, almost basically setting a new record for Road America, obviously, with only being the second event there, but third overall in the year. Or for the series history. So each event we've had over 2021 is basically a record-setting event. Ocala, we had the history setting or series history setting with 293. Newcastle back in May, we had 270, so set the record for that facility with the most ever at that facility. And now we've set a new record for Road America with 242. So all three events are 1, 2, and 3 in series history.
And truly stellar numbers across the board. 36 in Micro Swift, 39 in the Mini Swift category, 27 in Junior, 28 in X30 Pro. A bit of a drop, 10 drivers dropping from the X30 Pro numbers from Newcastle, but that's maybe to be expected with Newcastle being kind of a hotbed for that particular category. X30 Master still holding strong at 19, not quite at that 20 mark, but 19. And then again, David, what we're seeing across the board, all over the U.S., the KA 100 category is super strong. Actually, an increase up to 44 of 1 in the junior category, dropping 11 in senior. But numbers are great when a drop of 11 still nets you 49 entries. It's going to be a full grid for KA 100 senior.
Yeah, it's again, different factors into why the numbers are the way they are.
Yeah.
Being other drivers doing other things. Again, locals at Newcastle, we get a lot of locals there. There, a lot of drivers went to Florida just because it was Florida in the month of March, so it's a good time to go down there. But yeah, just the numbers in KA categories are just outstanding to see, and I think we'll get over that 30 mark again in X30 Pro. We're sitting right now at 28, so I think we'll get over that 30 mark because essentially that's kind of been the series average, is being over that 30 mark from day one back in 2013. So I'm sure we'll get a few more walk-up entries on that. But again, still good to see the mini and micro numbers hovering towards that 40 mark.
Dave, 2 questions for you based on maybe you talking to some people. Number 1, are they thinking about doing last chance qualifiers? And number 2, have you chatted with anybody, any team owners or whatever it may be that maybe may know of a couple of walk-up entries we may get? Like, are we going to potentially see 250?
Yeah, I've already confirmed on a few entries that aren't on the entry list that will be there. That was more along championship contenders, so there's 2 or 3 there. You're going to get a few more walk-ups for people who just didn't register or just didn't think about doing it in time, or people who just want to are coming up on the weekend. So the 250 could be a good mark that we end up at. And then in terms of last chance qualifiers, I don't know. I just tried pulling up the USPKS website and it's not working. So I just contacted the series officials to see if they can look at maybe something going on with their server. But again, I think they were kind of waiting to see where they were at in terms of numbers because they weren't going to cap anything. I think 50 could be a good mark to where they won't do last chance qualifiers. But who knows? Maybe we'll have a few walk-ups where they might require it. So,
all right.
I'm not sure what they're going to do. Again, 0.8 of a mile circuit. It's not a wide track. It has some wide parts, but some narrow parts as well too. So, not exactly sure what they're going to do on that. But yeah, so we'll have to wait and see. That's obviously something we'll update as we get closer to the weekend. And oh, there it goes. Now we got the website working, so we'll see.
Well, listen,
as of right now, we have KA 100 senior with an LCQ. So
there you
yes,
go.
they will be doing
the update. Perfect. All right, folks, another quick break in the action. Time to dive into each category. 7 classes, of course, as part of the USPKS program. So after this break, we'll have a look at X30 Pro and KA 100 Senior. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. Trackside support and arrive and drive programs are available in 2021 for the USPKS and the SuperKarts USA Pro Tour and Super Nationals, with full product sales and service and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer private, one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. Trinity Karting Group is also your Midwest home for Tony Kart and Miami, and we're your source for MG and Avinco tires in the region. Tony Kart quality cannot be beat, so call us today to put you in a new chassis for your next event. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. Powered by technology, DID racing chains have a worldwide reputation for superior quality and reliability. Meticulously engineered and manufactured in Japan, DID Genuine Parts are the world's #1 original parts supplier for Japanese and European motorcycle manufacturers. A rich racing tradition where results speak for themselves, DID prides itself on engineering the most technologically advanced chains on the market to help you excel on and off the track. DID's SDH pin treatment creates an extremely hard chromium carbide layer on the pin surface that houses a soft inner core to absorb extreme shock loads. DID's 219 HTZ racing chain boasts this SDH pin technology, which leads to longer chain life as well as excellent energy transmission to the wheels. Available in the gorgeous gold, the 219 HTZ is the ultimate racing kart chain. Pick up a DID chain at your local dealer today, because when winning is the only thing that matters, go with DID. Back at it with the EKN OutLap here as David Cole giving us his thoughts before he heads west to Wisconsin from Michigan for the 5th and 6th rounds of this year's USPKS series. David, let's get started here with X30 Pro. 28 pre-entries in total. The points champion for the last 4 years, Brandon Jarsakrak, back by about 200, but he was the champ in 17, 18, 19, and 20. Lots of work to do for Brandon, but we do know there is a drop available. So what are your thoughts on going into this particular weekend?
Well, again, he's in range. He has the opportunity to kind of seize the moment. Road America is going to be a very crucial part in this championship chase. Obviously, with Connor Zillage and Ryan Norberg, they're sitting 1-2 in the championship chase. And again, as you mentioned, Jarsakrak 200 points out. So he's going to have a perfect weekend in order to close that gap up. Again, you still have the one drop. So that kind of goes in his favor, where he's able to drop one of those races that he's already had. Yep. To where Zillage and Norberg, maybe they don't have a drop race yet. So maybe one of these next 4 main events in the second half of the season could be their drop. Again, lots of racing still left to go, so nothing's really decided yet. But obviously Zillage and Norberg, they're separated by only 22 points up front. They're kind of in a catbird seat right now in terms of the championship chase.
Yeah, indeed. A couple of wins for Connor Zillage, one for Ryan Norberg in the opening round. Arias Dukmejian points, as David said, sees Zillage up by 22, Jarsakrak back by 201, Alessandro De Tullio 284 back, in Dukmejian 288 back. David, when you look at the grid and the lineup, the entry list, any notable information we want to bring out here right now in terms of X30 Pro?
Alessandro's not on the entry list, and I haven't been able to confirm with Parolin USA or himself if he is racing this weekend. So that'll be something that we'll have to watch and see as we get to the racetrack this weekend, or hear from them prior to. Very much very same contenders that are coming into the weekend. Obviously eyes are on the championship, but certainly a number of drivers who have been doing well this year. Brandon Tyner leading the Superkarts USA Pro Tour standings. You mentioned Duke Medjian already earning a win this year. He kind of had a rough Newcastle, so I think he'll look to rebound when he gets to Road America. Again, another track that he did pretty well at last year. A new name or a new face at a new place. We'll have Paulie Massimino actually moving to the Ryan Perry Motorsport tent, leaving the Mike Doty tent. So that's going to be a bit interesting as we go into the weekend to see how that dynamic works together.
That is interesting for sure. And I know that, and looking at some of the results, and you have it down here as well, that Connor Zilic and Ryan Norberg getting up to the Route 66 weekend to try to get a little more track time. Obviously, the championship pretty important to both those drivers.
Yeah, certainly. The Rollison Performance Group, we're all there. I believe Tyner was among those racing along with Nathan Cicero. So RPG certainly went and did their homework for this weekend with the Route 66 weekend. So they're certainly got the eyes on the championship, both RPG and Zillage going in. Zillage under the Team Felon tent, Nitro Kart tent with Jim Rojero on the wrenches there. So,
really, I like that.
Yeah, that's been a good combination all year long. Having those two working together. Started out at the SCUSA Winter Series back the second weekend when Zillage made his debut there with Nitro Kart, and it's been a good tandem. I think they had just the one mishap in Utah that took him out of the main event, but other than that, Zillage that was the only weekend he hasn't won a race in 2021. So a pretty good streak for them going right now.
Out of the frying pan into the fire, if you will. 28 entries in X30 Pro, 49 in total in KA100 Senior. You look at the past champions, Brandon Lemke in 2020, Blake Hunt a couple years ago in 2019, Zach Hollingshead in 2018, Alex Bertignoli 2017. Zilic with 2 wins in X30 Pro this year. David, 2 wins as well in KA100 Senior. Bertignoli and Duke Medjian with the other 2 points. And Zilic, just like at X30 Pro, with a lead in KA100 Senior, but significantly more than the 22 market share he has over Ryan Norberg in Pro. He actually has 140 points on Brandon Lemke right now in KA100 Senior.
Yeah, it was actually Lemke who scored that win that Alex Bertignoli was credited for, but a pushback bumper penalty took that win away from Lemke. So Lemke missing a little bit of points there from that penalty. And again, Newcastle just did not go the way that Lemke hoped for. So he's going to have some work ahead of him at what is kind of a home track, being in his home state of Wisconsin, and attempting to close back in on Zillage. Going to definitely need a victory on the weekend and keep Zillage off the top of the podium in order to close up that 140 point gap.
Other drivers in the points, AJ Myers, 164 points back, of course, the number 1 shifter kart driver in the country. Hayden Jones, 301 points back. Nolan Allison, 348 points back. Again, David, we talked about the fact that both Zilic and Norberg raced in the Route 66 weekend up at Road America. What about K100 Junior? Who went up there to the Route 66 race to try to get more experience there?
K100 Senior.
Pardon me,
yeah.
Senior. Nah.
I know, you think Zillage is still a junior driver, don't you?
Sometimes I do, to be honest. It's been so long, covering them for so long, I guess. Yeah, senior driver, Rob. Senior driver.
Well, speaking of him, he did end up winning on Saturday in the wet weather conditions at Route 66. Had a mechanical issue on Sunday, so wasn't able to challenge for the victory, but certainly drove up through the field. Alex Kardashian ended up winning that race. We don't have Kardashian on the entry list, so maybe he could be a possible walk-up. Not quite sure on his. Okay. He's kind of been hit or miss on the schedule, focused on work and school as well too. So we'll see if he could be a possible walk-up entry.
When you look at the entry list, anybody else stand out for you?
Well, just the numbers in terms of that, it's a big field with 49, as we just said. There's going to be an LCQ, so we're going to have some drivers sitting on the outside looking in each day and for the main event. So that's going to be critical. Any of the championship contenders have an issue in any of the pre-finals. that's going to be a very significant portion of the race day event. Looking at the entry list again, same kind of cast of characters that have been in the USPKS competition all year long. You look at guys with momentums, Nolan Allison coming off SCUSA Pro Tour victory at the Spring National. So we'll see if he's able to kind of turn that into USPKS kind of standout performance for him. So he kind of stands out a little bit. Another name to watch out for. You never know. Darren Marcus should be racing Masters. Decided to race K100 Senior.
Right.
He's good for some entertainment for sure on and off the track. See what Jake French can do. He's been kind of right there all season long. Incident at Newcastle took him out of the race day, I believe, on Sunday. But he's been kind of fast, both at Ocala, both at Newcastle. So maybe he'll be able to see him kind of break through on the PSL Full Gas Motorsports Burrell Art.
Nice. All right, working our way through here, folks. Another break. When we get back, X30 Junior, KA100 Junior, and X30 Masters. 3 categories to be previewed after we get back from some quick messages. It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years, and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. The Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is where out-of-the-box ease and outstanding consistency meet to create legendary races. Briggs & Stratton's history of motorsports dates back to when the first engines came off the assembly line in the early 1900s. Their focus on the grassroots level continues to help build generations of racers. Since 2008, the Briggs & Stratton 206 has gained a following that has the engine powering the largest fields in North American karting today. From the club level track programs to traveling regional series and national events, Briggs & Stratton competition provides the most exciting racing in the sport. Engineered and hand-built exclusively for racing, every Briggs & Stratton 206 engine is power tested and serialized before it goes in the box. Karters can take that engine straight from the box to their kart and be on the podium at the end of race day. Be sure to follow Briggs & Stratton Racing on Facebook and through @RaceBriggs on Instagram. To learn more about the 206 engine or to find the North American dealer near you, head to BriggsRacing.com. Briggs & Stratton Racing, what powers you? As always, big thank you to all the partners we have at ekartingnews.com. We wouldn't be able to do it without the people that you hear commercials for in all of our podcasts. Thank you so much for everyone being involved. David Cole alongside Rob Howden, full preview here of the upcoming USPKS race this weekend at C-Tech Manufacturing Motorplex up in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. The track, of course, right inside the grounds of the famed, iconic Road America. Played host to IndyCar a couple of weeks ago. Just had the NASCAR Cup Series there as well. Former Carter getting the win too, Chase Elliott. David, let's jump into X30 Junior. 27 pre-entries in total. Winners on the season so far: Jeremy Fletcher, Paul Bocuse, Aiden Ingrata, and Caleb Gaffera.
Yeah, a good string of victories. 4 different drivers for the 4 different rounds that we've had. Essentially, it's tightened up the championship chase when you have 4 different winners in 4 rounds. So we have essentially 5 drivers within 100 points as we go into the second half of the season in the championship chase. Jeremy Fletcher, among the race winners, he's leading the championship points by only a 5-point margin over Paul Bocuse. So those two have kind of started out the year on top, and they're still remaining on top, but the gap is a lot slimmer as we go into the second half. You have Max Garcia, nearly a victory for him on the year. He's only 49 points back from Fletcher, with Christian Miles continuing to make strides, getting quicker, sitting there in fourth. So he's been really consistent throughout the year. First 4 rounds, only 70 points out of the first place. And then Aiden Ingrata, as you mentioned, round 3 winner, not on the entry list, so he's going to add to the numbers. But he is confirmed that he will be racing this weekend.
All right.
So then there's another walk up as well. So this category we could see again eclipse the 30 mark.
Couple of cool names, couple of cool things to talk about in terms of notables. I know that Logan Toke coming back from racing in Europe. What else do we got in terms of maybe drivers with new teams? What's been going on for this category?
Yeah, we saw Cameron Brinkman make a debut with Mike Doty Racing at the Spring National, so he'll be back with Mike Doty Racing for this weekend at USPKS. So this will be his first USPKS start with the team. Frankie Mosselman making the move over to PSL Karting and Burrell Arts, so he'll be making that debut this weekend at Road America. You mentioned Toke coming back from Europe, so we'll see if he's able to take what he's learned over there and kind of put it to the pavement here at Road America. Looking at the drivers who were at Road America 2 weeks ago for Route 66, again, no X30 Junior. I mean, they offered it, nobody raced it. But a lot of drivers that do the double duty were in the KA100 junior category, including Jeremy Fletcher, who ended up winning one of the main events there, along with Austin Jurors, who's going double duty, both X30 junior and KA100 junior. So he's got to win at Road America. So those could be, guys that we'll see competing at the front of the field. But again, same cast of characters. You got Carson Morgan going to be back again. Parker DeLong has been a solid rookie contender all season long. Noah Baker's kind of been right there, just not able to get the results that he's wanted. So a number of names that could contend all weekend long.
Speaking of Jeremy Fletcher, as we jump into KA100 Junior now with 44 entries, Fletcher, a couple of wins on the season right now, sits second in points. Sebastian Weldon, actually your point leader in KA100 Junior in the USPKS. Chase Hand with a victory as well. The 4 races run so far. David Weldon with the point lead, 89 markers over Fletcher. Chase Hand back by 119 points. Parker DeLong, 148. And you mentioned Noah Baker, 188 back. 44 entries. 14 of those drivers doing double duty. Going to be a busy weekend for those drivers.
Yeah, Fletcher had a tough outing in round 3, so that kind of has cost him the championship lead, where you have Weldon, who's been pretty consistent along the 4 different rounds, as you said, including a victory in that round 3 that Fletcher struggled. Added 3 other different podium finishes, so very solid performance thus far by Sebastian Weldon in the category. And Weldon is among the 14 different drivers that are doing double duty. So, maybe the double duty is certainly helping him when it comes to the KA100 junior portion of the weekend.
And you mentioned already the Route 66 winners, Austin Jers and Jeremy Fletcher. I think this is going to be, I'm obviously not going to be there, which is sad. You'll be there. I got to think this will be one of the best races of the weekend. Would you agree?
Well, I think both junior categories, certainly.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of those X30 junior drivers very capable of winning. It's just a matter of being in the right position at the right time, how the race weekend unfolds. But yeah, with this one having 44 drivers in the field, a number of different drivers who will be in contention all weekend long. And again, just, with the big field, got to be consistent through the pre-final. Don't mess up, or otherwise you're going to be having to go through 44 drivers, which is not going to be fun at Road America.
So true. Let's move to X30 Masters, 19 pre-entries. And David, It's a pretty good little group of drivers. So let's just talk about championships over the last number of years. Laurent Mardan back in 2018, David Gallouin 2019, Scott Kopp winning in 2020. Kopp's already got a win this year. Mario Barrios as well has been great, really strong for Rawlson Performance Group. Scott Roberts with a victory as well. Those guys are right there in the top 3 or 4 in points. And then you throw Renato Jader David, who was a winner in the most recent round 4 at Road America. And he's coming back. I think you got down here first trip to Road America for Renato.
Yeah, was not part of the event last year. So this, I as far as I know, is going to be his first event at the C-Tech Manufacturing Motorplex. And as we saw at Newcastle, he was among the contenders all weekend long, able to score the victory in round 4. So he's been able to make it 4 different winners in 4 different rounds of racing. So out of those 4 winners, as you said, Barrios, Kopp, Roberts, and Renato, who's going to be able to kind of claim that second victory, or could even be third victory on the year, depending on how things unfold this weekend at Road America. But the championship, not as close as what we would think, with 4 different winners in 4 different rounds.
My thought, before you jump into the points there, when you look at the list, 4 different winners, who are the couple of guys you think can make it 5?
Well, that's pretty easy. Mardan would have been one of them, but he's actually going to be racing in Europe. So
that's a shame.
Mardan won't be there. Gallouin should have been a winner, I think, at Newcastle. Got hosed with some contact. So I'm not quite sure how well he'll do at Road America. It's tough. Looking at the entry list, I don't think we're going to have a 5th different winner.
It's hard to beat those guys, right? The guys right?
I mean, last year Kopp and Roberts were essentially the class of the field all weekend long. But you got to expect with Rawlson doing the homework 2 weeks ago, racing himself, getting the Rawlson Performance Group on point with setups. I got to think that Barrios will be right there. But Renato Jader David's going to be there as well too. So you got to expect about a 4 to 5 driver lead pack all weekend long.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And as we have talked about many times in a lot of these OutLap podcasts or our debrief podcasts, anytime Renato Jader David rolls into a Masters race here in America, there's an opportunity for him to win that race, and a high probability that he'll be running for the win. So I like the lineup there. Should be pretty solid in X30 Masters. And folks, final break in the action. When we come back on this edition of the OutLap, we'll wrap things up with our preview of Mini Swift and Micro Swift. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the US, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Prix chassis, and now the new Red Speed and EOS brands, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, the United States Pro Kart Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line, you can find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Prix, Red Speed, or EOS. Visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors of the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals. Time to cap things off in this edition of the EKN OutLap. Rob Howden joined by David Cole, who will be trackside throughout the weekend up at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Road America at the SeaTech Manufacturing Motorplex for rounds 5 and 6 of the United States Pro Kart Series program for 2021. We've worked our way through 5 of the 7 categories. David, let's wrap things up with the youngest drivers in the USPKS paddock. We'll start with Mini, then move to Micro. 39 pre-entries in Mini Swift, a couple of winners so far this year. Enzo Vidmontian has been strong across the board, everything he's been racing in. A couple of wins for Enzo. He leads the points. Diego Ardiles and Kai Johnson, 2 of the other top Mini Swift drivers we've seen in the season. They've got race wins in the USPKS as well.
Yeah, and I think, we kind of mentioned, we already have a 2-time winner, as you said, with Enzo winning twice.
Yeah.
You got to think that Oliver Weldon is right there ready to get his first USPKS victory on the season, sitting there in second, only 79 points back. So that really shows the kind of the consistency that he's been able to put together over the 4 opening rounds of the season, finishing top 5 in all 4 rounds in the main event. So put him second in the championship chase. So you got to expect that he's itching to get that first victory on the year. Sitting third, Kai Johnson got that victory in round 3. As you mentioned, fourth is Diego Ardiles, 226 points, not on the entry list, but racing. So he'll be a walk up. So that'll put the Mini Swift category into the 40 mark. Nice. So that's going to be a big field. And then Ben Mayer, not on the entry list and has not confirmed if he will be there or not. So that could be another walk up as well too.
Couple of drivers that we see normally over here in the U.S. have been doing some racing in Europe as well. Let's update the folks here on the EKN Radio Network. Some of the drivers who've had some European experience since our last events.
The big one is Mateus Oruela, the Superkarts USA Winter Series champion, has basically spent March through, I think now, racing in Europe. So he's been over there for nearly 6 months, racing with the Parolin factory team. In Europe, both WSK events, along with, I believe, some Italian championship events as well too, and nearly every race weekend it seems like he was on the racetrack. So he'll be making his way back to the USA. So he'll be making his debut at the USPKS for 2021. Asher Osteen actually made his first trip over to Europe, raced with I believe the Baby Kart race team, along with both Eilifs, Jack and Oscar, were over racing with Parolin USA, and they're scheduled to be back racing with Iron Rock Motorsports this weekend in Road America.
Dave, every category we kind of rolled through. We've talked a little bit about the Route 66 winners. Who were the drivers that were strong there, and were any of the guys in the top 5? Because obviously neither of these drivers you're going to mention are in the top 5 in points. Did we not have any of the top 5 guys there?
As far as I know, none of them were at the Route 66 event. So really was more of a regional event with a lot of the Midwestern drivers taking part into it. It was Jackson Wolney and Cash Perkins actually scoring the victories on the weekend, both of them picking up their first series victories. So big wins for both of them at the Route 66 weekend. That both will be in the field this weekend for the USPKS event.
A nice little roll in with a bit of confidence, right? Got a chance of already been won there. You got a pretty good setup likely if you're running up front. So we'll keep an eye on Wolney and Perkins to see what they're able to do against the top national drivers. Let's cap it off now with the Micro Swift class. Really impressive to have 39 pre-entries, now 40, as you're saying, with the confirmation of Ardiles. So 40 in Mini Swift. And then we're looking right now, 36 pre-entries for the Micro Swift class. Winners so far, 3 of the big names in Micro Swift racing here in North America this year. Isaac Malkit, Keelan Harvick, and Augustus Toniolo, David, the 3 winners in the 4 races so far.
Yeah, Toniolo was able to pull off the double, basically dominant weekend, taking a maximum points at the Newcastle event to essentially jump up into the championship lead. Again, scoring maximum points on the weekend, was able to move up to 35 points ahead of Keelan Harvick. With so essentially it's those 2 right now in the championship chase, unless we get dominating weekends by either Ethan Tovo or Alessandro Truchot, who are over 200 points out of first place. So they're going to need a very similar performance to what Toniolo was able to do at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Isaac Malkut sitting there in 5th. He again was able to score that opening round victory has not been able to duplicate that type of performance. And it was really shocking to see that at Newcastle Motorsports Park, one of his home racetracks. So again, Malka essentially racing right now for race victories for a chance to get back up into the top three, maybe in the title chase.
Talked about in the mini Swift category that Mateus Orjuela and both ILEFs, Oscar and Jack, running in Europe this summer. Same goes for Alessandro Truchot. He was over in Europe as well. And if he maybe that experience running against some different drivers over in Europe will give him an opportunity to get those wins you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm racing against probably basically what is a mini Swift field. So racing against drivers that are older, a little bit more experienced than what he's been that he's been able to race against. So yeah, hopefully bringing some of that knowledge back here to the USA, and again racing along with the Parolin factory team too as well. So probably a lot of good notes and tidbits for his progression in his driver development. An interesting note: nearly 10 drivers from the western half of the U.S. make up the micro Swift field. So a lot of drivers from the other side of the Mississippi making their way over to compete this weekend in the micro Swift category.
Yeah, I think that speaks well for the USPKS, which is truly an East Coast series. All 4 events on the East Coast, not like the SCUSA Pro Tour that kind of goes back and forth. Usually one West Coast race, the East Coast race, of course, at Newcastle Motorsports Park, and they've kind of moved things around a bit with the Winter Nationals. It's been in NOLA, it's been in California, it's kind of gone back and forth a little bit. But otherwise, to see a bunch of West Coast drivers coming in again says, hey, you know what? Great competition in the USPKS. I want to develop my driver. Let's come across from the West and do some racing against these guys. David, Route 66 winners, Brady Schad and Keelan Harvick. Does that spell good stuff for Keelan Harvick going into this weekend, you think?
I think it certainly, gave Harvick the opportunity to learn the racetrack. And when you come away with a victory, I think you've kind of learned it very well. Brady, a local driver, was one of those top contenders last year in the micro Swift field. So I would expect for him to be in contention to hopefully try and win his first USPKS victory.
Final thoughts. We're essentially done with the previews, Dave. We'll wrap things up here. You're heading to Road America. I was there a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure you'll enjoy the trek over. But any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Really, it's weather. That's going to be the question. Right now, forecasted for some rain possibly on Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, really?
So that's going to be the story throughout the weekend. That's what we had at the Route 66 weekend. They had a bunch of rain on Saturday, so most of the main events were in wet conditions. Right now, we're looking at possible rain on both, like I said, Saturday and Sunday for the Elkhart Lake area on this weekend. Thursday looks good, Friday looks good, but yeah, 50% on Saturday and 44% on Sunday.
Oh, bring the rain boots and the poncho and the umbrella, David.
Yeah, and some walls, because if you haven't noticed, they built a new kind of building that they house everything in at C-Tech Manufacturing Motorplex. So they have a viewing area up top, and that's essentially the best place to be able to see the racetrack itself. And that's where I was going to call home, depending on the weather conditions. So we'll see. We'll see how that holds up. If we're able to maybe put up some walls to keep the wet weather out, and maybe just kind of move in the center of, rain's nothing new to us when we work outside.
We've done it.
So maybe just move to the center of the viewing area to keep all the electronics and components dry and out of the wet.
Get yourself a couple of tire boxes.
Oh yeah. Get some MG tire boxes and should be good to go.
Good man. Folks, if you're not going to be there, make sure to follow everything we do on ekartingnews.com to get the entire coverage of the United States Pro Kart Series Badger State Grand Prix. Again, you can listen live throughout the weekend, www.ekartingnews.com/live. Make sure you follow all our social media platforms for updates. David's always putting the top 10s from the sessions up there. Normally gets an in-session photo up there as well. Daily coverage, race reports on both Saturday and Sunday. Sometimes it comes out Monday morning, depending on what kind of a night David has on Sunday when he heads out with the boys. And you can always follow the hashtags, right, to search. Hashtag EKN at USPKS, hashtag Badger State GP, and hashtag Road America. David, You got a pizza place you're going to? You got a burger place? What's on the food list for you going up
Oh
to Road
man.
America?
Well, I haven't. We're actually staying in Plymouth, so I haven't stayed
Oh wow,
there
okay.
probably since I used to go there with my dad back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to do some research to find a good burger place and of course a pizza place. So we'll be able to. You got to just watch my personal social media pages to find out where I end up.
All right,
But
folks.
of course, there's a Seepkins trip. Of course, one of those
There's always
nights.
going to be a Seepkin strip, of course. Make sure you slap a couple more EKN stickers up there in the bar
Mm-hmm.
area for us. I actually saw somebody I saw a picture with a Formula Car magazine sticker in the background. I thought that was a blast from the past for sure.
Totally.
That was a couple years ago. Well, folks, we're wrapped up here with episode number 24 of the EKN OutLap. David giving you a deep dive, full insight into what he's looking to follow when he gets to Road America for rounds 5 and 6 of the USPKS series for this year, the Badger State Grand Prix. Hope you enjoy all the coverage on ekartingnews.com. Of course, remember, probably on Monday or maybe Tuesday, David Cole and I will be recording the debrief podcast. He'll do a full podcast report on the event at Road America. You'll be able to listen to that on the EKN Radio Network or all the platforms where you go for your podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, folks. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.